On Tuesday, August 8th, Ohio has an incredibly important special election with just one thing on the ballot. A measure that will raise the threshold for Ohio citizens to amend their own constitution from a simple majority to a supermajority. The Republicans are doing this in response to what they think will be a citizen-led measure to codify abortion rights into their constitution in November. So instead of letting the public vote on what they want and letting majority rule, they've decided to sneak in an election before November, which would essentially destroy the ability of the majority of Ohio citizens to have their voices heard. A 60% threshold for a constitutional amendment would mean that Ohio now had a system where 41% of Ohio voters were able to stop what 59% of Ohio voters wanted. Does that sound fair to you? No. It sounds underhanded and anti-democratic and exactly in line with today's Republican Party. It's minority rule. Ohio is already completely gerrymandered, which gives their state house a veto-proof supermajority that keeps the power in Republican hands despite Democratic votes. They've already passed a bunch of new laws making voting harder, like tougher voter ID laws, shorter time for returning absentee ballots, and wait for it, banning August special elections. But they just went ahead and made an exception to their own law 1 month after it went into effect to undermine the will of the voters just a little bit more. Republicans know the majority of Ohio voters, no matter their party preference, will vote just like Kansas did to codify abortion rights into law because they don't believe politicians should be making our medical decisions. But instead of respecting the people, Republicans are betting they can just gut direct democracy and no one will notice because they're on vacation. It shouldn't matter what party you associate with or even where you stand on abortion rights because this August election isn't about either thing. This election is about whether or not you have the power to affect change in your state. This is about the fact that Republicans are trying to strip Ohio citizens of a right they've had to amend their own constitution for almost 200 years. No citizen, no matter their political persuasion, should want to have their voices silenced. This election isn't about politics. It's about freedom. About Ohio citizens having the freedom to decide what happens in their state. So if you live in Ohio, you want to vote no in this election, and you want to tell your entire friend and family group to vote no too. If you don't live in Ohio, then I would highly encourage you to get involved and get the word out to Ohio voters so they don't lose their freedoms and their rights. Swing Left already has people on the ground, canvassing, letter writing, phone banking, to make sure this Republican power grab is unsuccessful. At the end of the day, we have to start fighting back against this kind of dirty play. We have to say, no more. We see you. You can't keep cheating your way into unchecked power because we're paying attention now and the buck stops here. Vote no. Ohio.